type in your question, and then I can select your question and it'll pop up right here. I got one already. Okay, so let me see how I do this. Okay, so I'm going to read it as it pops up. What was your experience in graduate school, and what are your tips and tricks to be successful in graduate school? I think that's what it is. Okay. My experience in graduate school was good. I did a 2-year program. I came in with my bachelor's in psychology, and so I had to do the 2 years to get the MSW. And the first year was very I explored a whole lot in the first year. They kind of take it slow, and so that was nice. And you're kind of learning the theories, and it all kind of seems like a big hodgepodge of all this information being thrown at you. A lot of a new perspective and take on the world, which wasn't very different from my own personal take, so that meshed well. But it was kind of challenging a lot of viewpoints, and you have your first internship during that first year too, so it's a lot thrown at you at once. And then the second year is when you kind of piece it all together and just kind of make it work. So the experience overall, it's very intense as far as like personally, it's more intense than what you can probably expect. And my top tips, I'm going to share them again in the YouTube video. But I think my top tips would be to get really good with time management. And if you're already good with time management, then you are steps ahead of the game, because you do have to juggle classes, internship, and then some of y'all will be working, which I didn't do when I was in graduate school. But more power to you if you can do both. Is a lot of just a lot of time management. So I would brush up on that. I would also buy a planner for sure. And I would also say to just try your best to keep an open mind, and don't be afraid to ask questions, and to start study groups, because in social work, the best way to learn really is within groups with people that you trust. But I like having this group of social workers and studying social workers here on Instagram, because I think we all go through this kind of back and forth on whether this field is for us or not. And it's okay to kind of go back and forth and just kind of figure it out as you go. So I just want y'all to know, if you're in that very first stage of it all, I know I'm like gun-ho social work, but it's my heart and soul by this point. I've been doing it for 10 years. Alexis said, I had the same question about how to be successful, and glad someone asked. Yeah, I say the best thing to be successful is to speak up. Don't feel like you have to know it all, because it's graduate school. Ask all your questions and take advantage of your internship for sure, because the internship is where you are going to learn the most. So shadow as many social workers at your field placement as you can. That's a great bit of advice. Ask your supervisor on site if you can shadow other social workers, because every social worker does it differently. And that's definitely something that you can ask for when you're starting your program. I don't know if a lot of people do it, but I would highly recommend it, so that you can just get a taste and a flavor of everyone's different styles, because social work is just, it's very, it's just varies a lot from person to person. So it's important to kind of gather that information from everyone around you as much as you can. But again, the Q&A for graduate school that I posted here on Instagram a while back, I'm answering, it's like 20 questions. You all had some really, really good ones. Everything from top tips to how to study to where to live, and just so many good questions. So all of that is coming soon. Again, I'm editing the video, so it is just very, it's a lengthy one. I might have to make it a part 1 and a part 2. Any other questions, guys? Thanks for that one. Before I got one more. Wants to know, I didn't take a course on school social work in grad school, but now I'm a school social worker. Any recommendations, I'm guessing? I would, anything that you learned, if you took like a child psychology class or human development, which is pretty much in every program, kind of lean on that information. You have obviously the basics and obviously the skills. You're going to go in and start from the very basics, and you're just going to assess the whole situation and see where you think your services could be best. For certificate programs or post-grad school programs, certificate-wise, I would make sure that you try to attend a school social work conference in your area. I'm not sure what state you're in, Needs assessment is key. Yes, AJ is right. You want to go in and do the needs assessment and see what that school needs, because every school is completely different. But I would highly suggest going to school social work conferences so that you can kind of brush up on what the trends are in school, which right now I would say is mindfulness and a lot of trauma-based approaches to dealing with kids, that's what we're trained in, guys. Social work is so ahead of the game. Like we're strides ahead of teachers and administrators as far as knowing everything and the basics about trauma, about mindfulness, about CBT. All that stuff is slowly trickling into the schools. So Darby, I think you're going to do absolutely fine. And please just trust that inside you, your path has led you to this place. So they need you for one reason or the other. And anyone else that's in that position, please just trust the process, just the way you did in graduate school. Trust the process, because you're placed there for a reason and you're going to make some big changes as long as your heart is in it. That's my best advice for someone that's starting off. When you're in there, be there, fully present to learn. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I hope that you have a great rest of your week. Sign off with that. I just had to say hi to y'all. Okay, see you later.